In my limited memory, the word relaxed and comfortable has never been associated with this place, and busyness is the norm for people here. 30 years ago, my father came to this city from the mountains to work hard for a living. At that time, this was a place that all Chinese people envied, and people with dreams of changing their destiny flocked here. And many enviable stories and miracles were actually born here. This is Shenzhen, which is one of the most important cities in China in the past 40 years. It can be said that it is China's window to the world and is China's most proud achievement. I don't need to use any words to modify these. And now, at this point in time, which is called a major change unseen in a century, it is also a stage when China's economy is encountering unprecedented challenges. Can Shenzhen achieve greater glory? This time, we will take a good look at her current appearance and talk about her future. If I didn't tell you where this is, you would even think it was some kind of coastal resort. If you search for videos about Shenzhen, most of them will show you what a beautiful city Shenzhen is, with skyscrapers, green spaces, forests, seas, and beaches. With more than 1,200 parks, Shenzhen is the first-tier city in China with the largest number of parks. It is no exaggeration to say that this is a garden city. Among all super cities, Shenzhen's natural conditions are definitely the best. Shenzhen is located in the subtropical region of southern China, with a mild and humid climate. Winters are not as cold as in the mainland, and summers are not as humid and hot as in Southeast Asian countries, making it very suitable for living. These excellent natural scenery really make people living here and tourists feel that this is a beautiful city. But if you really live here, how much time do you have to enjoy the scenery of this city? Because most of the people who come here have only one purpose, which is to make money. Under such a glamorous appearance, 3/4 of the people in Shenzhen have a monthly income of less than $1,500, and half of them live in urban villages in Shenzhen, while less than 10% of all Shenzhen people have her own house. No matter how beautiful the city is, she only belongs to a few people. Urban villages are where most migrant workers in Shenzhen live. This is an urban village, in Pingzhou Baoan District, Shenzhen. The roads are bumpy, the water is stagnant, and wires flying across the sky are a thing of the past. This place has already surpassed the image of a village in the city in my imagination. The Shenzhen municipal government has implemented a series of urban village renovation plans in the past few years, aiming to improve the infrastructure, living environment, and public service levels of urban villages. Although the population density here is extremely high, it has gotten rid of its dirty and messy image in the past. The restaurants and convenience services on both sides of the street are also well organized. Coupled with the cheap apartment rental prices here, young people who have just come to Shenzhen to work can quickly settle down. To be honest, many people may not know that Beijing also has urban villages. But compared with the one in Shenzhen, I think the one in Beijing may be more in line with the image of a village. Of course, Shenzhen also has such a high-end village like Huanggang Village. Except for the luxurious clan ancestral halls in the village in the past, I think this has nothing to do with the concept of a village in the city. Sit under this huge banyan tree for a while. If you don't look at the high-rise buildings behind the ancestral hall, you will indeed feel like you have traveled through time. Let's zoom in closer and take a look at the most common places where migrant workers work. This is an ordinary industrial park in Bao'an district. As far as I know, the wages of workers here have not changed for more than 10 years. They go to work at 8 a.m. every day, and many of them don't get off work until 9 p.m. They can get 3 meals a day in 5 minutes at restaurants and street stalls in front of the factory, and then go back to work. Some of them live in dormitories in factories, and some live in urban villages near factories. Compared with those beautiful parks and skyscrapers, this is the real living environment of Shenzhen people. At the end of 2023, factories in Shenzhen and Dongguan both encountered unprecedented crises, and the number of orders was greatly reduced. The workers here's basic salary of 3,000 to 4,000 yuan is definitely not enough to maintain their basic living, so working overtime has become a necessary condition for them to increase their income and find a job. Therefore, the turnover of personnel in the factory is also very large now. However, the general environment is like this, and the problem cannot be solved by changing a factory. Shenzhen's brilliant achievements over the past few decades are actually based on our huge demographic dividend. While we lament the high quality and low price made in China, what we should lament even more is the hardworking people owned by the Chinese. Dedication. And I unexpectedly came across a delicious Lanzhao ramen shop near the factory. Although I am not a food show, the simple service and amazing taste of the dishes made me unable to refuse. If they are included in the program, they are also the most common migrant workers in Shenzhen.
哦，你们都是回民吗？
对。
哦，是，行。
我们刚开嘛，然后刚开的话就味道是比较稍微料啥的比较特别好的那儿。
啊。
贵有的时候贵上千块钱。
贵上千块钱。哎。
Let me reiterate, this is really not an advertisement, it is indeed delicious. Over the past few decades, Huiqiangbai Market has witnessed the rapid development of China's electronic products industry. It has become the core area of China's electronic product wholesale, retail, repair, OEM, etc., attracting countless domestic and foreign buyers, merchants and tourists. Every time I come to Shenzhen, this is the place I will definitely come to. No matter whether you want to buy something or not, as long as it is electronic products, it can be said that there is nothing you can't think of and there is nothing you can't buy. The rampant parallel and fake sales here were also an important reason for the popularity of Huiqiangbai in the past. There is even a ghost market in Huiqiangbai where you can buy products that are not available in the regular market. However, it has been impacted by China's developed online shopping and the general environment. The popularity of offline stores here is also much less than before. There are scattered buyers and many closed stores, which seem a bit depressed. The original #1 electronics street in China has now become a pedestrian street for travel, leisure, and entertainment. As Shenzhen gradually transforms into the world's leading center for intelligent and innovative electronic products, With Huiqiangbai's current supply chain advantages, I believe it can still continue to be full of vitality. This is Dongmen Old Street, which carries 300 years of prosperous history and is now the favorite gathering place for young people in Shenzhen. Once upon a time, the first McDonald's in China opened here. After the epidemic hit, Dongmen seemed to have returned to its past prosperity, with crowds of people surging. Nowadays, it has a new label, Internet Celebrity Street. I have never been keen on short videos and live broadcasts. However, when I came here, I have to admit that the scene in front of me touched me deeply. The people here, like other people who come to Shenzhen, work hard with the purpose of making money. They let themselves go to their heart's content here, and no matter how loud the volume is, no one can stop them, and even the police will come to help maintain order. Shenzhen's inclusiveness is well deserved. If this scene were moved to Shanghai, Beijing, Hangzhou, or even Hong Kong, it would be hard to imagine what the scene would be like. The pace of Shenzhen is very fast, and many people can only enjoy their own time in the evening or even late at night. The difference between China's southern cities and northern cities may appear to be scenery, climate, or food, but the essential difference is the nighttime economy. At night, the narrow roads of Shuiwei Night Market are crowded with people, street stalls, snacks, and even a video store that I haven't seen in more than 10 years. I don't care whether the things inside are legal or not, but Shenzhen is Shenzhen after all. There's nothing you can't buy. If you had to ask me to define shopping, I would never call shopping in a mall shopping. Only this kind of place can inspire my desire to go out from home and enjoy the city. Seeing such an atmosphere really makes you unable to realize that China is currently in a stage of severe economic slowdown. Although the income of many ordinary people here is not particularly high, the relatively low prices are more acceptable to ordinary people than in China's other two first-tier cities. When Huyo, young people also prefer this kind of atmosphere. Although I have reached middle age, I insist that young people should enjoy their youth instead of sitting in the office or at home all day. There are indeed enough places for youth to rest in Shenzhen at night. This time I had the opportunity to experience the driving experience in Shenzhen. I feel that Shenzhen's road construction is indeed very efficient. The traffic jam situation can be said to be the best among first-tier cities. We can take a look at this China's congestion list for the second quarter of 2023. Shenzhen's ranking is only 29th, which is basically consistent with my feelings. Traffic jams on arterial lines will soon be relieved. But when I drove in Shenzhen, I clearly felt a Shenzhen rhythm. It's fast, or it can be said to be eager. At the pace I drive in Beijing, you will feel like all cars are rushing against time. There are a large number of electric vehicles driving on the main roads in Shenzhen, which makes my driving experience in Shenzhen extremely tense. If you drive to the service road, the unscrupulous army of electric vehicles will even make you wonder if you are on a non-motorized lane. There is no way, the law does not punish the public. Probably it also applies to Shenzhen, a first-tier city. Of course, the subway is also a relatively convenient choice in Shenzhen, but after all, in first-tier cities, large crowds during peak periods are unavoidable, but during normal hours, the flow of people can be said to decrease sharply. Of course, I also checked in at the famous Eye of Shenzhen. It was my first time here, and it looked familiar. It looked a bit like the famous Sierki subway station. However, this Gangxia North subway station is obviously high-end and classy, and it feels like an airport.
3倍是吧？
Shenzhen subway even followed Hong Kong's example and added business class carriages to provide a better riding experience. The price is about 3 times more expensive than ordinary fares. However, compared with Hong Kong's business class occupancy rate, this completely vacant state may be as good as the needs of Shenzhen locals are somewhat inadequate. Finally, let me talk about how I see Shenzhen. There is a well-known saying in Shenzhen: "You are a Shenzhen native when you come here." This sentence was placed in an environment where the national settlement policy was very closed 30 years ago. In fact, it was a huge tolerance, and it also attracted countless people from all over the country. People come to Shenzhen to start businesses and work. But I think most big cities in the country can actually borrow this sentence. After all, large-scale population mobility has taken shape, and geographical restrictions are gradually being relaxed. But if you asked me to describe Shenzhen in one sentence, I think this sentence is more suitable. Time is money. My friends and all my experiences in Shenzhen are conveying a message to me, that is, why come to Shenzhen if you don't make money? Are you here to enjoy life? Therefore, Shenzhen's overly pragmatic urban temperament will also make people who like it flock to it, while those who don't like it will stay away. Under the premise of such great turmoil and changes in the domestic and international environment, Shenzhen's economy still shows its tenacity and resilience. In 2023, GPD will achieve a year-on-year growth of 6%, ranking first among first-tier cities. In terms of high-tech products, it has created a world-shaking growth rate, and the strong development of BYD, Huawei and a number of high-tech innovative companies has also pointed out the direction for Shenzhen's future. The above words may sound a bit official, but I personally feel the same way. As a person who needs to walk around and take pictures, the imported products in the bag are gradually replaced by domestic equipment, and most of these equipment are produced in Shenzhen. In my opinion, these are Shenzhen's competitiveness. But as I discovered in the video above, many workers in Shenzhen still have not gotten rid of the curse of demographic dividend. Only by upgrading the industry as soon as possible can Shenzhen benefit the vast majority of workers here. They do not have to work overtime to make money. And I can also realize my dream of a home in this international metropolis. I hope this is more than just a place to make money.